The massive alien ship appeared in Earth's sky without warning. It hung above New York City like a metal cloud, 20 miles long and shaped like a smooth gray arrowhead. People stopped in the streets to stare up at it. Car horns blared as traffic halted. News channels across the world showed the same images. In the White House emergency room, President Frank Davis watched the screens with his mouth open. Next to him stood Ambassador Alan Wright, a tall man with gray hair and steady hands that now trembled slightly. "Any response to our messages?" the president asked. General Mary Scott shook her head. "Nothing, sir. We've tried all frequencies. They're not answering." Dr. Susan Miller, the chief science officer, studied the readings on her tablet. Her brown eyes narrowed as she looked up. "The energy output from that vessel is unlike anything we've ever seen. Their technology must be centuries ahead of ours." 3 hours passed with the world holding its breath. Then, without warning, a beam of light shot down from the ship. It touched down in Central Park, forming a perfect circle of white light. From this circle emerged 5 figures. They weren't what anyone expected. The aliens stood upright on 2 legs, but their skin shimmered, with colors that changed as they moved. Their heads had no visible eyes, just smooth curves with small moving parts that might have been mouths or sensing organs. They wore no clothes, but parts of their bodies gleamed like metal. "We need to meet them," Ambassador Wright said, "before someone does something stupid." 2 hours later, a small group of humans stood in Central Park facing the aliens. Ambassador Wright led them, with Dr. Miller and 3 security officers close behind. A safe distance away, news cameras captured everything. The tallest alien stepped forward. A small device on what might have been its chest glowed, and words came out in perfect English. "We are the advance team of the Galactic Concord. I am High Counselor Zixtar. Your world has been noted." Ambassador Wright stepped forward with a practiced smile. "On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we welcome you. This is a historic day for our people." The alien made a motion that might have been a shrug. "Your existence has been added to our records. We will establish a standard outpost on your moon. Do not interfere with our operations." Wright's smile faltered. "Perhaps we could discuss this. Our moon has significant meaning to our people. We'd like to propose—" "Discussion is unnecessary," Zixtar interrupted. "Your technological development level is Category 4. Your species is unremarkable. We have encountered 17 similar species this cycle alone." Dr. Miller stepped forward. "We have much to offer. Our art, our culture, our unique perspective." The alien's colors shifted to a dull blue. Yes, all developing species say the same. You are not special. You are merely new." The security team looked at each other nervously as Wright tried again. "We request formal diplomatic relations and—" "Noted," the alien said, clearly bored. "You may send 1 representative to our Luna outpost once it is established. Communications will be limited to standard protocols." Without another word, the aliens turned and walked back to their light circle. As they disappeared, a smaller ship detached from the main vessel and headed toward the moon. That night, in the White House, Ambassador Wright stared out the window, at the alien ship still visible in the night sky. "They barely even looked at us," he said quietly. President Davis nodded slowly. "Like we're ants they noticed on their picnic blanket." Dr. Miller joined them, her face tight with anger and determination. "They think we're unremarkable," she said. "They have no idea what humans are capable of when underestimated." Outside, the alien ship cast its shadow over Earth, while on the moon, without permission or negotiation, construction of the alien outpost had already begun. Image description: for Leonardo AI, a massive arrowhead-shaped alien spacecraft hovering over New York City skyline at dusk. The ship is metallic gray with subtle blue lights along its smooth surface. Below, crowds of people stand in streets looking up, some pointing. In Central Park, 5 tall, iridescent aliens with no visible eyes and shifting skin colors stand facing a small group of humans in formal attire. The aliens have smooth, curved heads and metallic elements integrated into their bodies. A beam of white light connects the ship to the ground where the aliens stand. The scene has dramatic lighting with the ship casting shadows over the city. 10 years passed. The world changed, but not in ways anyone had hoped. Captain Lisa Fletcher stood on the bridge of the EDF Defender, Earth's newest warship. It was the pride of the Earth Defense Force, built with every bit of technology humans could develop. Yet compared to even the smallest alien ships, it was like comparing a rowboat to an aircraft carrier. She watched through the view screen as 3 massive Conquered mining ships moved past Saturn, heading for its moons. No permission asked, no notice given, just taking what they wanted. "Should we hail them, Captain?" asked her first officer, Paul Green. Lisa shook her head. "Why bother? They'll just ignore us like always." The Concorde now had bases on the Moon, Mars, Titan, and Europa. Thousands of aliens lived in our solar system. They used our resources, our space, but barely acknowledged humans existed. "Another transport just landed at Luna Base," said the communications officer. "They're bringing in more equipment for the new communications array." Lisa nodded. Earth got no say in what happened on the Moon anymore. Back on Earth, Dr. Jack Nelson worked late in his lab at MIT. Empty coffee cups surrounded him as he studied the alien language database. After years of work, he was one of the few humans who understood how the conquered species thought. His colleague, Dr. Diane Ward, entered with fresh coffee. "Any breakthroughs?" Jack looked up, his eyes red from lack of sleep. "Maybe. I've been studying how they solve problems. All 27 species think the same way. Logical, linear, efficient. And that's bad. It's limited," Jack said. "They don't make intuitive leaps. They don't use metaphors or lateral thinking. Their art has no creativity, just perfect execution of established forms." He pulled up images on his screen. Alien architecture, all identical. Alien music, mathematically perfect but emotionless. Alien writing, precise but without poetry. "They think we're primitive because we're messy, creative, and unpredictable," Jack said. "But that might be our greatest strength." In Washington, Ambassador Alan Wright sat in yet another meeting with the Concord's Earth liaison, a being called Krell. The alien's skin shimmered with bored purple patterns as Wright tried to discuss new trade terms. "The current arrangement is not fair to Earth," Wright explained. "You take resources from our system and give us only basic technology in return." Krell's translator device made a sound like a sigh. "The trade terms are standard for your development. Category. The resources you provide are common. The technology we give you is appropriate for your level. But we've been asking for medical technology for years. And you will receive it when your species reaches the proper development stage," Krell interrupted. "Giving primitives advanced technology is against Concord regulations." Wright's hands tightened into fists under the table. 10 years of this. 10 years of being ignored, dismissed, and treated like children. That night, Wright didn't go home. Instead, he drove to a nondescript building outside the city. Inside, security scanned him before he entered a large underground room where 50 people waited. Military officers, scientists, government officials, business leaders, all with the same angry, determined look in their eyes. Director Olivia Carter, head of the newly formed Global Advancement Initiative, stood at the front. She was a small woman with short gray hair and eyes like steel. "Ambassador," she nodded as Wright took his seat. "Now we can begin." On the wall behind her, a simple phrase was projected. "They ignore us now. They will notice when we're gone." "For 10 years, Director Carter said. "We've been treated as irrelevant. We've smiled and nodded while they take our resources and give us scraps. That ends now." She pressed a button and images appeared. Secret human laboratories, hidden factories, underground shipyards. While they've ignored us, we've been learning, watching, building. The Conquered thinks we're just primitive humans waiting for their guidance. Her smile was sharp as a knife. "It's time to show them how dangerous it is to underestimate us." Around the table, heads nodded. Operation Exodus had begun. Image description for Leonardo AI. A futuristic military command room deep underground, with curved metal walls and holographic displays. In the center, 50 diverse human leaders sit around a large circular table. At the front stands Director Olivia Carter, a stern older woman with short gray hair pointing to a large holographic projection showing the phrase, "They ignore us now. They will notice when we're gone." The projection also displays hidden human, technological developments, secret underground shipyards building advanced spacecraft, laboratories with glowing equipment, and manufacturing facilities. The lighting is primarily blue with red accents, creating a dramatic atmosphere. In the foreground, Ambassador Wright sits with a determined expression, while military officers in uniform and scientists in lab coats look on with resolve. Through a small window, the glow of an alien base on the moon is visible in the distance. Sam Rodriguez had been fixing cars in Detroit since he was 16. Now at 35, he worked in a garage that looked ordinary from the outside. But deep below, hidden from alien monitoring systems, was something very different. Sam wiped sweat from his forehead as he adjusted the final piece on his engine. It wasn't like any engine on Earth. It used principles from alien ships, but with changes only a human would think to make. "You ready?" asked Mia Johnson, the physicist who worked with him. She didn't look like someone who had 3 degrees. In her work clothes and with oil on her hands, she looked like any other mechanic. Sam nodded. "Let's fire it up." The engine hummed to life. It didn't roar like old engines. It made almost no sound at all. But the readings on their instruments made both of them smile. "It's working better than the Concord ships," Mia said in amazement. "How did you figure this out?" Sam shrugged. "I just thought about it differently. They never changed their designs. I tried something new. All across Earth, in garages and basements and small labs, people like Sam were working on secret projects. The aliens never noticed. They thought humans were too simple to understand advanced technology. They were wrong. In the Rocky Mountains, inside a hidden base, Director Olivia Carter walked through a giant cave. Workers had carved it out of the mountain in secret. Inside sat 5 sleek ships unlike anything humans had officially built. Admiral Greg Howard met her at the entrance. "We've installed Rodriguez's engines in all 5 ships," he said. "Test flights show they're faster than anything the Concorde, as in the system," Olivia smiled. "And they haven't noticed?" "They don't even look at us," Greg replied. "Their sensors watch for their own technology. These ships don't register because they work differently." In a small university lab in Boston, Dr. Natalie Winters and her team made another breakthrough. They crowded around a computer screen, watching code run. "It works," Natalie whispered. "The simulation shows the stealth field holds up even under direct scans." Her assistant, young programmer Diane Foster, punched the air in triumph. "They won't see us coming or going." Natalie shook her head. "That's not the point, Diane. They won't see us leaving." By 2105, 18 years after the aliens arrived, humanity had a small fleet of ships the aliens knew nothing about. They had stealth technology that could hide people and objects from alien scanners. They had new ways to grow food, build homes, and create energy. All of it developed in secret while pretending to be simple, primitive humans who needed alien guidance. Washington, Ambassador Wright met with Krell for their monthly meeting. As always, the alien barely paid attention to what Wright said. "Your request for access to Level 3 medical knowledge is denied," Krell said. "Your species is not ready." Wright kept his face calm, though inside he wanted to laugh. Human doctors had already figured out most of what the aliens were hiding. In secret hospitals, they were curing diseases the aliens claimed were beyond human understanding. "We accept your decision," Wright said humbly. Krell's skin flashed with colors that showed surprise. Usually, the human argued more. Later that night, Wright met with President Heather Morrison in the secure room beneath the White House. No alien technology was allowed there, no chance of being overheard. "How much longer?" the president asked. 2 more years, Wright replied. "The colony ships are almost ready. The first settlements on other planets are established and growing food. The stealth systems work perfectly," the president nodded. "And they still don't suspect?" "They think we're just accepting our place," Wright said. "They believe we're resigned to being primitive." Their arrogance makes them blind. In the next room, Dr. Kevin Zhang showed them his latest creation. It looked like a simple metal cube, but it was far more. This will mask the exodus, he explained. When people leave, this will make it seem like they're still here. Heat signatures, electronic activity, everything. The president picked up the cube. And Operation Exodus begins when? The first major departure is next month, Wright said. 100,000 people gone without a trace. And the final departure, she asked. July 4th, 2112, Wright replied. Independence Day, the day humanity disappears. Image description for Leonardo AI. A vast underground hangar carved inside a mountain, illuminated by blue-white lights. 5 sleek, silver spacecraft with smooth curves and subtle blue energy signatures sit in launch positions. The ships have an elegant, advanced design unlike conventional human vessels. In the foreground, director Olivia Carter, an older woman with short gray hair and a dark uniform, and Admiral Greg Howard, a tall man in military dress, stand reviewing holographic schematics floating between them. Dozens of engineers and technicians work around the ships, some on platforms at different heights. The cavern walls have been reinforced with metallic supports, and various computer stations line the perimeter. Through a large reinforced window at the far end, the night sky is visible with a faint alien structure visible on the distant moon's surface. The scene has a secretive, high-tech atmosphere with a contrast between human ingenuity and alien technology. Commander Eric Patterson stood on the bridge of the ship Defiance. It was the newest vessel in humanity's secret fleet, shaped like a sleek arrow and painted midnight black. No alien sensors could detect it. The ship didn't officially exist. Commander, we're picking up the asteroid now, said Linda Reeves, his science officer. The Concord outpost is directly in its path. Eric frowned at the screen. The asteroid was large, nearly a mile across and moving fast. It would hit the alien mining base on Mars in less than 6 hours. Thousands would die if nothing was done. Have the aliens detected it yet, he asked. Linda shook her head. Their sensors are focused outward, not on the inner system. They still don't know it's coming. Open a channel to their command center, Eric ordered. The alien who appeared on screen had blue-green skin that rippled with annoyed patterns. Human. Vessel, you are not authorized to contact this facility directly. There's an asteroid on collision course with your base, Eric said clearly. It will hit in less than 6 hours. You need to evacuate now. The alien's skin turned a dismissive yellow. Our sensors show no such object. Do not waste our time with human mistakes. We've sent the tracking data, Linda said. They're receiving it now. The alien glanced at something off-screen, then looked back with the same bored expression. Your data is flawed. Our systems would have detected any significant threat. Return to Earth space immediately. The screen went dark as the alien cut the connection. Eric looked at his crew. They all wore the same expression, frustration mixed with determination. They're not going to evacuate, are they? Linda asked. Eric shook his head. No, they don't believe us. He stood straighter. Helm, take us to intercept course. We're going to divert that asteroid ourselves. For the next 5 hours, the Defiance worked in secret. They attached specialized engines to the asteroid, firing them in precise bursts to change its course. It was dangerous work. One mistake could send the rock tumbling into Earth instead. As they worked, more urgent calls came from Earth. The aliens had finally detected the asteroid, but too late to do anything about it. They were demanding human ships evacuate their personnel, not understanding that official human ships couldn't reach them in time. Just 30 minutes before impact, Eric's team made the final adjustment. The asteroid would now miss the Martian, base by less than 10 miles, a near miss but enough to save thousands of lives. As they pulled away, the Defiance dropped its stealth field. Eric wanted the aliens to see who had saved them. The alien commander appeared on screen again. This time his skin flashed with shocked patterns of purple and white. How did you? The alien started. You're welcome, Eric said with a tight smile. Next time maybe listen when we try to warn you. Back on Earth, Eric expected thanks for saving the alien base. Instead, he was met by angry, conquered officials who accused humans of creating the danger in the first place. "Your primitive ship should not have been able to move an asteroid," said High Counselor Zixtar in the emergency meeting. "You must have placed engines on it beforehand as a threat." President Morrison stood her ground. "We saved your people using technology we developed ourselves." "Impossible," another alien official said. "Your species is not capable of such advancement without outside help." The meeting continued for hours, with the aliens growing more suspicious and hostile. They couldn't accept that humans had developed technology on their own. It didn't fit their view of humanity as primitive and dependent. 3 days later, in the secret base beneath the Rocky Mountains, Director Carter read the new Concord Directive with cold anger. "They're implementing a monitoring system," she told the gathered leaders. "AI observers in every major human facility, restrictions on all space travel, regular inspections of our technology development." Ambassador Wright's face was grim. "They're afraid of us now. They see what we might become." "Then we've shown our hand too soon," Admiral Howard said. "No," Director Carter replied. "We've just given them the final reason to underestimate us one last time." She looked around the room. Operation Exodus moves to final phase. Acceleration of all timetables. The colonies need to be ready sooner. On the screens behind her, the secret human settlements on distant planets showed their progress. Growing farms, new buildings, hidden shippy. Dr. Natalie Winters walked through the crowded underground lab with a tablet in her hand. Around her, dozens of scientists worked at computers, running final checks on the most ambitious plan in human history. "How are the numbers looking?" she asked Diane Foster, who hadn't slept in nearly 2 days. Diane looked up from her screen with tired but excited eyes. "Better than expected. The AI monitors they installed are seeing exactly what we want them to see." On the large screen above, them green dots showed the locations of thousands of alien monitoring systems now watching Earth. The aliens had placed them everywhere after the asteroid incident, in cities and factories, even in some homes. The aliens thought they were tracking all human activity. They were wrong. "Show me Chicago again," Natalie said. Diane tapped her keyboard. The screen zoomed in on Chicago, showing small blue dots moving around, the signals of individual humans going about their daily lives. Except many weren't really there anymore. "The duplicate signals are perfect," Diane said proudly. "According to their systems, Chicago still has 2.7 million people." "And the actual number?" Natalie asked quietly. "Just under 1 million, Diane replied. "The rest left 3 months ago." Natalie nodded with satisfaction. Similar evacuations were happening all over Earth. Using the stealth technology developed by Dr. Kevin Zhang, millions of people were leaving each month. The alien monitors saw only what the humans wanted them to see. Normal activity, normal population levels, nothing suspicious. In Antarctica, far from main alien observation posts, Admiral Greg Howard supervised the loading of another colony ship. This one would carry 50,000 people to a planet the humans had named New Haven, 12 light-years from Earth. "Final checks complete," reported his assistant. "All families are aboard and secured." The ship looked nothing like traditional human vessels. It was egg-shaped and smooth, with no visible engines or windows. Inside, families prepared for a journey that would take just 3 weeks thanks to the new drive system. "Launch in 30 minutes, Howard said. "Make sure the weather satellite interference is running. We can't risk them spotting the launch heat signature." As the countdown proceeded, Howard thought about the amazing progress of Operation Exodus. In just 2 years, over 1 billion humans had secretly left Earth for colony worlds. The aliens, so convinced of human inferiority, never even noticed the population decline. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., President Heather Morrison met with High Counselor Zixtar. The aliens' monitoring device floated nearby, recording everything. "Your industrial output has decreased by 12%, the alien noted with suspicion. "Explain." President Morrison put on her best concerned face. "We've had some resource allocation problems, nothing serious. Your birth rates are also declining. Zixtar continued. Is your species facing a health crisis? Just changing social patterns, Morrison replied calmly. Many young couples are waiting longer to have children. The alien seemed satisfied with these explanations. The Concord still saw humans as simple creatures, easily understood and controlled. The alien leader had no idea he was speaking to the president of a species that was rapidly disappearing from under their very eyes. After the meeting, Morrison met in secret with Ambassador Wright and Director Carter. The room was specially shielded against all monitoring. How much longer can we maintain the deception? Morrison asked. The duplicate signals and holographic projections will hold up indefinitely, Carter replied. The question is how long we want to maintain the illusion of full population. Wright looked at the latest numbers on his secure tablet. We're ahead of schedule. Over 60% of humanity has already relocated to colony worlds. At current rates, we'll have 80% gone by the end of the year. And the final departure? Morrison asked. Still set for July 4, 2112, Carter confirmed. The remaining government officials, military personnel, and essential workers. Just enough people to maintain the illusion until the very end. Morrison nodded and looked at the small Earth globe on her desk. For thousands of years it had been humanity's only home. Soon it would be empty, but not abandoned. They would leave it clean and beautiful, ready for a possible return someday. They think they're watching us, she said softly. But they still don't see us. Not really. That's their weakness, Wright replied. They've never understood what makes humans special. Our adaptability, our creativity, our determination. Carter smiled. And soon they'll understand what they've lost. But by then we'll be beyond their reach. Image description for Leonardo AI, an enormous underground facility beneath Antarctica, lit with blue-white lights. In the center sits a massive egg-shaped spacecraft with a smooth pearlescent surface and no visible windows or traditional engines. Hundreds of people, families with children and belongings, walk up illuminated boarding ramps into the vessel. Admiral Greg Howard, a distinguished man in a dark uniform with silver accents, stands on an elevated platform overseeing operations. Technicians monitor holographic displays showing weather patterns and satellite positions. In the background, massive doors in the ice ceiling are opening to reveal a night sky filled with stars. The walls of the facility are lined with advanced technology, stealth field generators, weather control systems, and communication arrays. Security personnel discreetly guide the boarding process while medical teams provide final checks to the colonists. The scene captures both the technical achievement and emotional weight of humanity's secret exodus, fear, hope, and determination visible on the faces of those departing Earth forever. July 4, 2112 was a sunny day in Washington, D.C. President Heather Morrison stood at her office window, looking out at the capital city for the last time. In a few hours, she would no longer be the president of a nation on Earth. She would be the leader of a people spread across 12 star systems. Madam President, her aide said from the doorway. It's time. Morrison nodded and turned away from the window. The office was clean and orderly. Nothing personal remained. It looked as if she might return any moment, though she never would. In the secure bunker 50 feet below, the final command team waited. Ambassador Wright, Director Carter, Admiral Howard, and the other architects of Operation Exodus stood around. A large round table. Final status report, Morrison said as she entered. Admiral Howard stepped forward. The last major evacuation completed at 400 hours. All remaining personnel are essential staff only, approximately 50,000 individuals worldwide. All are at their departure stations. Power systems? Morrison asked. All global power plants have been set to automatic shutdown sequences, Director Carter reported. Clean and safe. They'll power down over the next week one by one, so nothing dangerous is left running. Agricultural systems? All farm animals have been relocated or released into appropriate habitats, Wright said. Crops have been harvested or will grow naturally. We're leaving nothing that requires human care. Morrison took a deep breath. And the conquered? Still oblivious, Carter said with a small smile. Their monitors show normal human activity levels, thanks to our signal duplicators. Their patrols see our holographic projections. According to their systems, Earth's population is exactly where it should be. Very well, Morrison said. She walked to the center of the room where a simple glass box sat on a pedestal. Inside was a single red button. Begin the countdown. Across what remained of human-occupied Earth, the final 50,000 individuals, mostly government officials, military personnel, and technical staff, boarded their evacuation ships. These were the people who had maintained the illusion of a full population. Now their job was done. In New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, Tokyo, cities that once held millions now held only a few hundred people each, though the aliens' monitors still showed bustling metropolises. The signal duplicators would continue working for several more hours before shutting down. At exactly noon Eastern Time, President Morrison pressed the red button. A simple message went out to all remaining humans. Departure. Within minutes, the last humans left Earth. Their ships, hidden by stealth technology, rose silently into the sky. From orbit, Earth still looked blue and beautiful, unchanged by humanity's secret exodus. Ambassador Wright stood beside President Morrison on the bridge of the command ship. Through the view screen, they watched Earth growing smaller. Should we say something? Wright asked. Some final words to mark the occasion? Morrison shook her head. No speech, no declaration. That's the point of all this. We're not telling them we're leaving. We're just gone. 8 hours later, High Counselor Zixtar received an urgent message from the Earth monitoring station. The alien supervisor there was confused and alarmed. Human population signatures are dropping rapidly across the planet, the supervisor reported. We've lost nearly all signals in the last hour. Zixtar's skin flashed with irritation. Check. Your equipment. It must be malfunctioning. We've run diagnostics 3 times, the supervisor replied. The signals are really gone and our patrols report the cities appear empty. For the first time in decades, Zixtar felt genuine concern about humans. He immediately ordered ships to Earth's major cities. What they found shocked the entire Galactic Concord. Every city, town, and village on Earth was completely empty of human life. Homes stood with doors neatly closed. Offices were tidy and organized. Power plants High Counselor Zixtar's skin had turned a dull gray color that none of his staff had ever seen before. In the grand meeting chamber of the Galactic Concord, representatives from all 27 member species gathered in growing alarm. How? Does an entire species just disappear? Demanded the Vex ambassador, her tentacles waving in agitation. According to final scans, over 8 billion humans vanished within a 48-hour period, reported the head of Concord Intelligence. We have found no trace of them in this solar system. Could they have been taken by an unknown species? Asked another representative. Zixtar's skin flashed a negative pattern. There were no other ships, no signs of struggle, no radiation, signatures of any kind. They simply left. The chamber erupted in concerned chatter. This was unprecedented. No species in Concord history had ever just walked away. What about their technology? Asked the Tellarian ambassador. Did they take everything with them? No, replied the intelligence officer. They left their cities intact. Their power plants shut down safely. Their data systems remain functional. We can access all their public records. Then what's the problem? The Tellarian asked. We've dealt with declining species before. Perhaps they simply died out. The intelligence officer's voice became uncomfortable. The problem began 3 days after their disappearance. Our interstellar communications network experienced a 12% efficiency drop. The chamber went silent. Explain, Zixtar demanded. It appears that certain algorithms in our network were human in origin, the officer admitted. We never knew because they were submitted through proper channels by our own technicians, but they were based on human mathematics. Impossible, said the Vex ambassador. Humans were a Category 4 species. They couldn't have contributed to our technology. Another official stepped forward, this one in charge of cultural affairs. We've discovered similar issues in other areas. Several popular entertainment formats across the Concord were apparently human creations, submitted through intermediaries. Without new content, consumption has fallen by 22%. One by one, other officials reported troubling discoveries. The trade network that connected the conquered worlds had been subtly optimized by human algorithms. Without updates, it was becoming less efficient each day. Several diplomatic protocols that had prevented conflicts between member species had been quietly suggested by human advisors, working through alien representatives. How did we not see this? Zixtar's skin pulsed with distress patterns. An older alien at the back of the room spoke up. Because we chose not to see them. We decided what they were when they first appeared. Primitive, unimportant, just another Category 4 species. Everything they did that didn't fit our assumption we ignored or explained away. Find them, Zixtar ordered. Search every system within their possible reach. But the search proved futile. Human ships had used drive technology the Conquered couldn't track. Their colonies used stealth systems beyond Conquered detection abilities. Humanity had disappeared from known space. As months passed, the problems grew worse. Trade disruptions increased. Communication systems became less reliable. Cultural exchanges stagnated. The Galactic Concord, which had dismissed humans as unremarkable, discovered just how much those primitives had quietly contributed. In his private chamber, Zixtar reviewed one final report that troubled him most. Trade Ambassador Ryan Cooper, a human who had seemed so simple and deferential, had apparently embedded human influence so deeply in galactic trade protocols that the entire system was now unpredictable without human input. He sat in those meetings. For years, Zixtar said to his aide. Always polite, always accepting our decisions, all while he was rewriting the foundation of our trade network. Perhaps we should have listened to them, the aide suggested carefully. Zixtar's skin flashed with a pattern of regret. We never really spoke with them. We spoke at them. A year after humanity's disappearance, the Conquered took the unprecedented step of issuing a formal invitation to the human species to return and join as full members. The message was broadcast on all frequencies in all directions. There was no response. 2 years after the departure, cultural works created by humans became the most valuable items in the Conquered. Alien collectors paid fortunes for original human paintings, music, or literature. Things once dismissed as primitive were now recognized as unique. 3 years after humanity left, the Concord established a research station on Earth to study human culture more deeply. Researchers were shocked by what they found in the detailed records humans had left behind. The primitive species had been developing technologies along completely different paths than the Concord, making breakthroughs alien scientists had never considered. They weren't behind us, one researcher reported to Zixtar. They were simply in elsewhere, moving in directions we never thought to explore. 4 years after the Exodus, the Concord reluctantly reorganized its species classification system. The old Category 4 designation for humanity was deleted from the records. We still don't know where they went, Zixtar told the Concord Assembly. But wherever they are, whatever they're building, they are doing it without our constraints, without our assumptions, without our approval. And given what we now know of their capabilities, that should concern us all. Image description for Leonardo AI. The grand circular meeting chamber of the Galactic Concord in crisis. Tiered seating rises in a full circle, filled with diverse alien species of various shapes, colors, and anatomies. In the center stands High, Counselor Zixtar, a tall alien with smooth skin now turned an unusual dull gray color, showing distress. His normally confident posture is slightly stooped as he faces multiple holographic displays floating around him. The displays show various concerning statistics. Communication network efficiency dropping 12%, trade disruptions increasing 18%, cultural consumption declining 22%. One large display shows Earth from orbit, beautiful but completely empty of viewer. Human activity. Light comes from a grand dome ceiling revealing stars and distant galaxies. The chamber has an opulent design with ornate alien architecture and advanced technology seamlessly integrated. Various representatives are standing, Gesturing with tentacles, claws, or multiple limbs in clear agitation, the mood is tense and fearful, with lighting that creates dramatic shadows across the worried faces of the diverse alien assembly as they confront the consequences of humanity's absence. 5 years after humanity's departure, a single ship appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. It was unlike any vessel the Concorde had ever seen, sleek and silver, with strange energy patterns flowing across its hull. Concorde monitoring stations detected it immediately. Alarms sounded throughout the system. Defense ships moved to intercept. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself," the Concorde commander transmitted. A woman's voice responded, clear and confident. "This is Captain Julia Warren of the Human Vessel Reunion. We come in peace." News of humanity's return spread through the Concorde faster than light. Within hours, High Counselor Zixtar himself arrived at Earth in the Concorde's flagship vessel. The human ship waited patiently in orbit around Jupiter. It made no aggressive moves. Scans showed it carried no weapons, yet the energy readings from its engines were unlike anything in Concorde records. "Open a channel," Zixtar ordered. On the view screen, Captain Warren appeared. She was middle-aged with dark hair streaked with silver, wearing a simple blue uniform with no rank insignia. Beside her stood a man in formal diplomatic attire. "Hi, Counselor," the man said with a slight bow. "I am Diplomat Ben Rivera, representing the United Human Colonies." For perhaps the first time in his long career, Zixtar's skin showed patterns of genuine humility. "The Galactic Concorde welcomes your return. We have been concerned since your departure." "We received your messages," Rivera replied. "That's why we've come back." "Then you will rejoin the Concorde? Return to Earth?" Zixtar asked hopefully. Rivera smiled. "No. We've built something different now, but we're ready to talk about a new relationship between our peoples." Over the next few days, the Concorde learned what humanity had accomplished in just 5 years. Freed from Concorde restrictions and classifications, humans had established 12 thriving colony worlds. They had developed technologies along paths the Concorde had never explored. They had solved problems Concorde scientists had struggled with. "For centuries, how?" asked Zixtar during one meeting. "How did you advance so quickly?" "We always could," Rivera explained. "But you never gave us the chance to show you what we could do. You decided what we were the moment you met us, and never looked beyond that first impression." In the Concorde assembly, representatives from all 27 species gathered to hear humanity's proposal. The Grand Chamber was fuller than it had been in centuries. Even species that rarely attended were present today. Captain Warren and Diplomat Rivera stood in the center of the chamber. They wore no special clothing, carried no ceremonial items. They simply stood as equals before the assembled aliens. "We do not wish to rejoin the Concorde as junior members," Rivera said. "We propose instead a new beginning, an alliance between the Concorde and the United Human Colonies as separate but equal partners." The chamber erupted in voices. Many objected, some were outraged, a few were thoughtful. "What do humans offer that would